The income elasticity of demand, it's the percentage change in quantity demanded over percentage change in income of the people buying it. So there's a difference from the price elasticity of demand where you have the price right here and not the income. That's the only difference, right? Now, what's really important to understand is this is quite misleading, the percentage change in quantity. Why is it not just the change in quantity? Why is it the percentage change in quantity? It's because one big fact that it's even hard to understand already when you're learning about the income, price elasticity of demand, not the income but the price already before, is the thing that the change in quantity, okay, if I write it like this, percentage change in quantity, the change in quantity itself is just Q2 minus Q1, the final or minus the initial, yeah? So it's going to be 4 minus 3, it's going to be 1. It goes by 1, right? The difference is 1. And so the change is 1. But it's going to be over something. That's why it's the percentage. Yeah, that's what makes it, that's why this the percentage, because the change in quantity would just be this. But the percentage makes it something more. It's like compared to something. And then how big of a percent of that initial thing the change is. And that's the confusing part. So now you can put it over, and it's not even important that it's the percentage. Percentage just tells us that it's going to be proportional, that the change that we're measuring is going to be proportional, or put into a ratio with something else. It's going to be put into a ratio with the initial value. So you can put it into ratio with the initial value, you can also put it in the ratio with the midpoint, and then it depends because there's actually two definitions that you can get the percentage change in quantity. You can either get it by difference in quantities over the initial quantity or difference in quantities over the midpoint between these two. So in this case it will be over 3.5. But I'm going to do it in the more mainstream way, and that is over the initial quantity, which our percentage change in quantity therefore will be, and the percentage thing is not important, it just tells us that it's not just going to be simply the change in quantity, but it's going to be the change in quantity over the initial quantity. That's why the percentage thing that there is, okay? That's why there's going to be a fraction hidden inside this number in the numerator already. So it's going to be 4 minus 3 over the initial quantity is 3, all of that over, and the same thing will be done with income, and we see income change from 4 to 5, which means 5 minus 4 will be the change, and it's going to be over the initial value, so 4. Now, we can just use maths to solve this. So, the result is going to be 4 over 3, okay? 1 over 3 times 4 over 1, yeah. So we get 4 over 3, and that's the result, something little bigger than 1, yeah? It's going to be roughly approximately 1.4, 1.3, 1.333, but it's never going to be that, it's going to be just 4 over 3, that's the most exact, that's absolutely exact denotion of that number, okay? So, we got the income elasticity of demand for these exact values. I just showed you how to calculate it. You see it's very similar to the price elasticity of demand. The only difference is we don't have the price, but we have the income right here. So that's good to keep in mind. Now, for the income elasticity of demand, it's good to know that there are certain values it can end up at. So if the income elasticity of demand, you can note it like this, for example, is bigger than 1, okay? That means when the quantity rises, the percentage change in quantity is bigger than the percentage change in income, then it is a luxury item or a superior item. Yeah, so we can say luxury. When the income elasticity of demand is between 0 and 1, okay, like this, then it is a normal thing. That means the income is actually smaller than the quantity. So that means like when people have more money, they're going to buy more of it. Yeah. And then if it's smaller than 0, it means when it's negative. When it's negative, the income elasticity of demand. Then it means it's an inferior thing. It's something very cheap that they don't buy when they have more money. When their income rises, then they're going to buy less of it because they just don't need it anymore. They will replace it by something more expensive, by something maybe in the luxury part of the scope. And so we see when the result of our calculation happens to be bigger than 1, it's a luxury item. When we're calculating something for an item and it turns out the income elasticity of demand of it turns out to be between 0 and 1, it's a normal item, yeah? And when it's lower than 0, when it's negative, that means that means the quantity will go down, will be negative, okay? So the quantity will go down while the income rises. And so we will have it be an inferior item because it's something that people will start purchasing less when they have more money.